a rule in my neighborhood. If you walk your dog and your dog does his business in somebody else's yard, you need to get a little plastic bag, pick it up, and dispose of it. And I know the dogs are confused. The dogs are like, wait a minute, you're taking it back home? Why did we have to walk 3 blocks? I could have pooped in the living room, saved us both some embarrassment. What a stupid rule. Why would they have us pick it up? It's fertilizer. It makes the grass grow. Lord, it's not like some child is going to step in it. A kid hadn't played in the yard since 1982. You know what's sad? We have an entire generation that has no idea how to get dog poop off the bottom of their shoe. But when I was growing up, we played in the yard every day, and every day somebody stepped in dog poop. And when it was your turn, you knew what to do about it. You would hobble over to the curb and scrape the biggest part off on the edge of the curb. Then you would find a puddle, and you would swirl the bottom of your shoe around in the puddle. Then limp over to the grass and do the brush stroke back and forth. Then you would find a little bitty piece of stick, and you would sit down on the curb and you would pick it out of the zigzag pattern on the bottom. Then you wore those shoes to church the next day. And nobody in that church knew you'd stepped in dog poop. See, when it comes to technology, my wife and I laugh about this because we're in our mid-50s, and my wife says we are the bologna in the technology bologna sandwich. We're right in the middle because our parents can't text and our children can't write. My kids don't even think you need to study. They're like, Dad, if you want to know something, you just Google it. And to a point, they're right. I mean, when I was growing up, if you were watching TV and somebody said, what was that guy in? You'd go, well, he looks familiar. That was it. Now you're watching TV, somebody goes, what was that guy in? Somebody goes, he was the janitor on Joey. Of course he was. But I try to tell my kids, I said, yeah, there's a lot of stuff you can learn from Google. I said, but there's just as much stuff you can't learn from Google. You only learn it from life experience. You'll usually learn most of it the hard way. It's stuff that's not Googleable. I don't know if that's a word. But I call them the facts of life. It's stuff you can't Google. Like this, fact of life. If you are trying to get to the bathroom in an emergency situation, it is not a wise idea to unbutton your pants in transit trying to save a couple of seconds. Because the muscles that guard the floodgates will interpret the unbuttoning as the signal to abandon their post. And the 2 seconds you saved on the button are nullified by the hour and a half you spend mopping and doing laundry. You only learn that the hard way. Fact of life. If you are going to see a scary movie at the movie theater, it will be much more entertaining if you can find a seat directly behind a group of black women. Because not only will you get the scary movie, you will also get their running commentary of the scary movie. Oh, look at this. She running around in her panties like that. Girl, put some drawers on and put that hair up before he snatched that weave out your head. Now, can you see this girlfriend? She going back in the house. No, she going down to the basement. Girl, get your shit and get out there now. Fact of life, women always have more questions than men have answers to. Great example of this. 6, 7 months ago, I get a text one day. The text says, please pray for Tom. He was in a bad wreck. I walk into the kitchen where my wife is. I said, hey, I just got a text that said, please pray for Tom. He was in a bad wreck. She said, was he driving? I said, I don't know. I just got a text that said, please pray for Tom. He was in a bad wreck. Were Carol and the kids in the car with him? I don't know. I just got a text that said, please pray for Tom. He was in a bad wreck. Were the people in the other car hurt? I don't know. I just got a text that said, please pray for Tom. He was in a bad wreck. What hospital did they take him to? I don't know. I just got a text that said, please pray for Tom. He was in a bad wreck. She said, well, you don't know anything. What do you know? I know you need to pray for Tom. I just got a text, said he was in a bad wreck. That's all I got. I ain't holding anything back. That's it. People pointing at each other here. You know, people, I guess forever I will be the redneck guy. I was just doing a tour with Larry the Cable Guy and Bill Engvall, and I was sitting in the dressing room one night doing the redneck calendar, the Page a Day calendar, and Larry popped in my room. He goes, how long you been doing them things? And I said, I wrote the first one in 1990, so, 23 years, I guess. And he goes, how do you keep coming up with redneck jokes? And I looked at him, I said, there's no research going on. It is my family. To that end, let me share this story with you. Back early in the fall, my wife and I got an invitation to my cousin Sherry's wedding in Alabama. And we got the feeling that it was a hurry-up wedding, because the invitation was a fax. And at the bottom they had written BYOLC, which we learned meant bring your own lawn chair, because they were getting married in her parents' backyard, because I guess the OBGYN had told them they didn't have 6 weeks to wait on a church. So my mom was at my house that day, so I started making jokes about it being a hurry-up wedding. Well, my mother got mad. My mother said, don't you dare say anything about Sherry. She is the sweetest girl alive. She never tells anybody no about anything. Pretty much why we're having to go to Alabama now. But my mother knows everything. So I said, Mom, how did she even meet this guy? And my mother said, well, they met in a laundromat. So you know right there it's anointed by God. Apparently Sherry needed change for the dryer, and she said this guy Dustin came over and gave her half a roll of quarters. Just gave it to her. Which by then, under Alabama law, I think she was required to have sex with him. So... But my mom wants to go to this wedding, and she doesn't drive on the interstate or through swamps, so she wants us to take her. And I can't tell my mom no, and so I'm like, all right, we'll go to the wedding. Well, immediately my mom starts pitching for us to stay at my Uncle Ray and Aunt Tina's house. And I don't want to do that because I'm allergic to ferrets. And so I say to my mom, I said, Mom, why don't we just stop at the Motel 6 in Dothan, Alabama? And my mother said, and I quote, well, I don't want people thinking we're uppity. Which in my family is a possibility. One year, my brother brought 3 buckets of Kentucky Fried Chicken to the family reunion, and all day long people were like, what's up, Donald Trump? So at the risk of being uppity, we stop at the Motel 6 in Dothan. And if I had known that it was chili cook-off weekend in Dothan, I would have called ahead and made a reservation because they only had 1 room available. And from the smell of it, some of the past chili cook-off winners had stayed there. But when the lady at the desk said 1 room, I'm thinking in my mind 2 double beds. Well, we get to the room and there is 1 queen-size bed for me, my wife, and my mother. And my wife's not real happy because she knows she's in the middle. Yeah, she's the Berlin Wall. Because if I wake up spooning with the wrong person, it is going to take years of therapy to get me back right again. Well, you learn stuff when you're on the road. Well, that night I learned that the walls of the Motel 6 in Dothan, Alabama are apparently made out of toilet paper because the couple in the room next to us liked each other a lot and loudly. And me, my wife, and my mother lay in that queen-size bed and listened to them like each other for an hour and a half. At which point, my wife tapped me and said, you need to do something. I said, I'm about to walk next door and ask for his autograph. An hour and a half? That's 3 years' work for me. Well, the next morning we're getting ready and I hear them leaving the room and I want to see them. You know, because you listen to it, you have this mental image. So I run over and I crack the door and peek out in the hall. Oh, Lord, I wish I'd never done it. Y'all, they were big uns. Big uns. I think half the moaning and groaning was them trying to take their socks off. Well, we leave the Motel 6. We drive down to my Uncle Wayne's house. Cars are parked all down the street. So as we're walking up the driveway to the house, there's a pickup truck in the driveway. And I'm looking and it looks like somebody has passed out against the passenger window. And I'm like, what the heck? And I walk up. In the passenger seat of this truck with the seatbelt on is a dead deer. You can't make this up. And the doors are locked. I go in the house. I said, what's the story with the deer in the truck? My cousin Scott said, we hid it on the way over here, but I didn't want to leave it in the bed because I thought somebody might steal it. He thinks somebody's going to steal a dead deer at the family wedding. Well, we visit a little while, then they tell everybody to grab their lawn chairs. We go out in the backyard where they're going to have the ceremony. They have decided that the altar for the wedding is going to be the redwood deck of the above-ground pool. You might be a redneck. And the entire pool and deck are covered in colored Christmas lights. So I leaned over to my brother. I said, hey, I wonder how long it took to put up the wedding decorations. And my brother said, well, we were here 2 years ago and they were up then, so I don't think they ever come down. So they get ready for the ceremony. My cousin Sherry comes out in a snow white dress, 8 months pregnant, in a snow white dress. I'm looking for a big star or 3 wise men riding camels up the driveway or something. The irony's lost on my mother, who tapped me and said, that's the same dress her mother got married in. And I'm doing the math, and the only answer I can come up with is ho squared. So, well, we get through the ceremony. The guy that was the best man is now the DJ. He's wearing his tuxedo pants and no shirt. He is lighting firecrackers with his cigarette and throwing them at Sherry's grandmother's feet just to hear her cuss. And she's good. Sherry's mother, Donna, is walking around with a styrofoam cooler that's filled with Ziploc bags of birdseed because she said Sherry read online that if you give the birds, if you throw rice, the birds will eat it, and then when they drink water, that rice will expand and it'll kill the birds. So she wants everybody to throw birdseed, which we did. And to this day, I haven't had the heart to tell her 2 hours after they left, her little brothers were in the front yard with pellet guns shooting the birds while they ate the birdseed. But they get in the car. Now, most people just drive off, not my relatives. They get in Dustin's Camaro and proceed to do donuts in my Uncle Wayne's yard. Third time around, her door flies open. I'm standing next to her grandmother, who threw her beer on the ground and said, if this lasts 6 months, I'll kiss a good man's ass. So, Jeff, where do you come up with all of those redneck jokes? And here's the other thing. I'm not only in a redneck and come from world-class rednecks, I'm married into world-class rednecks. My wife and her entire family are from the great state of Louisiana. So, anybody from Louisiana? Yeah? What do you think about this electricity? This is something else, isn't it? It's pretty cool. Don't touch it, it gets real hot. I just thought. Where are you from in Louisiana? South Louisiana. My wife's from New Orleans. You from like the Cajun country there? South Louisiana? Yeah. Greatest food on the planet Earth, Louisiana, is as long as you don't ask a lot of questions. As long as there's a ditch on the side of the road, nobody is going hungry in Louisiana. I've eaten with my wife's relatives. She's like, man, this is great. What is it? They're like, you don't want to know? Put you a little more hot sauce on it. Keep chewing that city boy. Come on, give me a clue. Does it swim? Does it fly? Maybe it do and maybe it don't. You just keep eating. I've seen them hit boiling pots with a wooden spoon going, get back in there right now.